My son banned me from his wedding, yet had the audacity to send me a bill for $80,000 to cover his extravagant celebration and honeymoon in Hawaii. He even wrote, "Thank me for letting you contribute." I just smiled, feeling my anger harden into quiet determination. His dream of a perfect, luxurious wedding was about to face an unexpected turn. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and share where you are listening from in the comments. I sat alone at my kitchen table in Lexington, the October light falling through faded curtains. That morning, an envelope had arrived, thick, cream-colored, addressed in Kevin's familiar handwriting. I assumed it was the wedding invitation. After months of silence, I opened it carefully, hopeful it might finally reconnect us. Perhaps it would ask me to walk him down the aisle, like we once joked about. But no. Instead, a stack of crisp, itemized bills slid out, totaling $80,000, $50,000 for a mansion near Lexington with grand gardens and chandeliers, $20,000 for catering, featuring imported wines and lobster from Maine, $10,000 for a Maui honeymoon suite with private beach access, and at the bottom, a handwritten note, "Dad, after the problems you've caused the family, be grateful I'm letting you contribute. This is your share. Send the check soon. Victoria and I are counting on it." I stared at the words, the paper cool beneath my fingertips. Problems? He meant the accusations from our last argument, blaming me for not rising higher in my engineering career, for the modest life we lived after his mother's death. My hand shook as I set the note down, the numbers blurring. On the table beside me sat a photo of Kevin as a boy, grinning from a little league game, his small hand in mine. How had that boy become this man, demanding money while banning me from his wedding to protect his polished image? Shock hit first, a cold wave tightening my chest. I crumpled the note, then smoothed it flat again. No, I would not let blind anger control me. I stood slowly, knees aching, the kitchen walls closing in with old memories. I splashed water on my face at the sink, but it didn't wash away the sting. Kevin thought he could push me aside while draining the savings I'd built through years of overtime, scrimping since Elena's death in 2015. After her funeral, he had called only once, his tone sharp. "You should have done more." "Dad, for all of us." I picked up an old pocket watch, a family heirloom passed down for generations, ticking steadily in my palm. It symbolized endurance, but Kevin had broken our bond, banishing me because Victoria decided a pensioner would embarrass their wealthy circle. A bitter smile spread across my face. The hurt was sharpening into resolve. I folded the bill neatly, a plan beginning to form. Anger was giving way to cold clarity. If Kevin thought he could manipulate me, he was wrong. A direct confrontation would fail, but there were other ways. I opened my dusty laptop on the counter. It was time to see what they were really planning. The spark of determination grew as I glanced again at Kevin's childhood photo. I remembered Jacobson Park when he was 8. A thunderstorm hit, and he had curled into me in the car, whispering, "Don't worry, Dad, you're the strongest." I had held him close, promising to protect him, while Elena watched with her gentle smile. Now, pacing the kitchen, memories flooded in, teaching him baseball on weekends, hearing his laughter, feeling like an unbreakable trio. But after Elena's death, everything shifted. By 25, already advancing in tech, Kevin began to pull away. One night in 2016, he said with bitterness, "You let her down. Dad, if you'd earned more, maybe the treatments could have been better." I had swallowed the pain, reminding him of the insurance battles, the second mortgage I took to cover her care. But he only saw failure, the modest house, the unremarkable job, and last Christmas had sealed the distance. I had driven to their modern apartment in downtown Lexington, carrying homemade tamales like Elena once made. Victoria barely looked up from her phone, whispering something to Kevin that made him smirk. "Dad, we're vegan now," he said casually. "And honestly, you showing up unannounced feels awkward." I left early. The drive back blurred under the streetlights, leaving me feeling like an outdated relic in their polished world. And now this bill, demanding I fund their lifestyle while being pushed aside, was the final insult. Standing at the window, fists tight at my sides, I watched the wind scatter dry leaves. Anger replaced the fading nostalgia, a slow burn that refused to fade. How dare he treat me like a burden, yet expect gratitude for allowing me to pay? I was no victim, not anymore. I had raised him alone after Elena, sacrificing vacations and comfort to give him every chance. And Victoria, with her designer handbags and endless social media posts, only encouraged his greed. This betrayal deserved consequences. I swore then, quietly but with conviction, to turn their flawless celebration into a hard lesson. Rain tapped against the glass, echoing the storm within me. Doubt flickered. Was I too old for this fight? I dismissed it. Justice was never about age. It was about dignity. I reached for my laptop on the counter, its cool metal grounding me as the screen lit up in the dimming room. The blue glow spread across the cluttered table as I settled into the chair. The rain outside fell harder, steady as a drumbeat. Kevin's social media was private, but Victoria's was open. She enjoyed flaunting their life. Post after post pierced me like a blade. Can't wait for our dream wedding at the Ashford estate. Blessed to have luxury living. The date, November 15, 2024, jumped out, just weeks away. The photos showed the mansion, chandeliers gleaming in mock setups. I sipped from a cheap bottle of red wine I'd been saving, its sharp taste fueling my focus. Enough reflection. It was time for action. I began taking notes. Venue, Ashford Estate, $50,000 rental. Caterer, elite events, promising farm to table for 200 guests. Photographer, Laia Voss, praised in Victoria's comments with her portfolio linked. Gorgeous shots incoming, Victoria had captioned with heart emojis. A debate ran in my mind. Should I confront him directly? No, that would only give him the satisfaction of dismissing me. Better to work in the shadows, to shake his illusion of control. Tab after tab opened. Mark Brennan, wedding planner, advertising flawless events for high-end clients. A LinkedIn connection confirmed he was running the show. Even honeymoon details surfaced from a travel agency, Maui Resort, overwater bungalows, all funded by that bill they expected me to cover. My anger grew sharper at a video Victoria shared of her trying on a wedding gown, Kevin beaming beside her. Daddy's paying for the party. Indirectly, she joked with a winking emoji. The audacity was fuel. I cross-checked every vendor, florist, DJ, limousine service. The extravagance was staggering, far beyond what Kevin's salary could manage without my money. For a moment, hesitation crept in. Was this revenge going too far? Would it destroy the little family bond that remained? But the memory of Kevin's dismissive tone pushed doubt aside. This wasn't just about anger. It was about self-respect, teaching him that greed carried consequences. My hand steadied as I found Mark Brennan's contact information, the man at the center of it all. I inhaled deeply, ready to begin unraveling their flawless design piece by piece. Phone in hand, I dialed. After 2 rings, a polished voice answered, smooth and confident. Mark Brennan Events. This is Mark. How can I make your day extraordinary? Leaning against the counter, I steadied my breath. Hello, Mark. This is Stephen Taus. I'm Kevin Torres's father, the one covering the costs for his wedding. A pause followed, then his tone shifted with warmth. Mr. Torres, Kevin mentioned you'd be calling to finalize payments. We were glad you were involved in such an important event. The Ashford estate was fully booked, and Victoria's vision was falling into place smoothly. I let Mark talk for a while about floral arches and string quartets, but my mind stayed focused. Actually, Mark, I'd rather discuss this in person. Can we meet tomorrow? I have some details to clear up. He quickly agreed, suggesting his downtown Lexington office at 10 a.m. I ended the call, the click echoing in the quiet room, and poured myself another glass of wine, swirling it as I pictured his reaction when the truth came out. No more hiding behind notes and invoices. I leaned back, adrenaline rising. The meeting with Mark was the first step, and I had to be prepared. I spent the evening reviewing the bill, marking key numbers to have ready. Before bed, I set out a plain sweater and slacks, simple, but enough to look serious. As I lay down, my plan settled firmly in place. The next morning, I woke early, thermos of coffee in hand, and headed out. Driving through light traffic, autumn leaves scattered across the windshield. At a red light, doubt touched me briefly. Was this the point of no return? I pushed it aside as the light turned green. Mark's office sat in a modern glass building off Main Street. nothing like the old brick structure of my engineering firm. I parked and entered, the lobby filled with the scent of expensive cologne. Mark greeted me with a confident handshake, dressed in a tailored suit and perfect tie. "Mr. Torres, come in. Coffee?" He guided me to a chair across from his desk, stacked with contracts and swatches. A framed photo of a smiling couple under a gazebo caught my eye, strengthening my resolve. That joy wouldn't belong to Kevin, not at my expense. Mark opened a file. "So, the $80,000 covers everything. Venue, catering, even the honeymoon deposit." Kevin assured me it's all confirmed. I leaned forward, voice steady. "Did he? Tell me, Mark. Did Kevin also mention that he banned me from the wedding? That I'm not even invited to the event I'm paying for?" Mark froze, the pen slipping from his hand. "Banned?" "No, he said family contributions were settled." "This is awkward." "Awkward?" I cut in. "It's insulting. He sent me the bill with a note telling me I should be grateful. After I raised him on my own." Mark shifted uneasily, rubbing his temple. I don't know what to say. "The contracts are signed, but without full payment, we can't move forward. Deposits are non-refundable, but the balance—" "Exactly," I interrupted. "Tell Kevin the wedding won't proceed until he speaks to me directly. No money from me otherwise. And if he insists, remind him how fragile plans can be." Mark nodded slowly, clearly unsettled. "I'll call him today." This changes things. As I stood to leave, I caught him mutter under his breath, "That arrogant kid." His words fueled me. Outside, the crisp air hit as the door shut behind me, and I felt the ripple of change spreading like a stone across water. Standing on the sidewalk, I felt stronger, but I knew I couldn't handle this alone. Mark was only the beginning. Kevin wouldn't give in easily. I needed someone I could trust. Alex's name came to mind. I still had his number, though we hadn't spoken in years. He knew Kevin better than most, and his current work as a detective could prove valuable. Sliding into my car, I breathed deeply as the plan sharpened. I checked my phone. No calls yet, but silence wouldn't last. Driving onto the highway toward home, my thoughts circled back to allies. My eyes paused on Alex's name in my contacts. Kevin's childhood best friend, the one he abandoned when ambition took over. A memory surfaced. Alex at 12 showing up at our door after his parents' divorce. Elena handing him hot chocolate while Kevin and I distracted him with cards. Before doubt could stop me, I dialed. "Alex, it's Stephen Torres. Been a long time." His voice sounded surprised but warm. "Mr. T, wow, yeah, how have you been? Everything okay?" "Not exactly," I admitted. "Kevin's getting married, but it's complicated." "Can we meet?" "I need your help." "Heard you're a private detective now, and into photography," he chuckled dryly. "Word gets around, sure, the old cafe on Broadway in an hour." I agreed and hung up as I pulled into my driveway. The house felt less empty, purpose filling the space. An hour later, I sat at a corner table. The smell of fresh scones mixed with the sight of leaves drifting past the window. Alex showed up, taller than I remembered, with a camera bag over his shoulder and the sharp eyes of someone who notices everything. We shook hands. His grip was steady. "Mr. T, you look good. Sorry about Elena. She was like a mother to me." "Thanks, Alex. Call me Stephen." I pushed a cup of coffee toward him. "Kevin banned me from his wedding and sent an $80,000 bill. I'm not paying." I'm pushing back. Alex's face hardened. "That sounds like him. He dropped me years ago when I wouldn't fake a reference. Said I was holding him back with my small-time jobs." I probed gently. He told familiar stories, how Kevin exploited others to climb. In college, he took my project ideas and claimed them. When I called him out, he ghosted me. Victoria's the same, all about the image. His tone carried old hurt. We planned over coffee refills. Alex would document the wedding from outside, photos and video, to capture anything useful for public leverage if necessary. A mutual acquaintance waved from the counter, old Ms. Jenkins, stirring a laugh and a memory. "Remember when you and Kevin pranked her with fake snow in July?" Alex smiled briefly, then the smile faded. "Those days are gone?" "He's changed. Mine too," I said. "But this alliance is real." We parted with a handshake, ideas circulating like steam from our cups. "What if we need more recordings, logs?" I asked. He nodded. "Come by tonight. Bring what you've got and we'll prep properly." Alex grinned. "Deal, Stephen. I'll be there at 8. The question echoed in my head as rain began to patter on the roof. That evening I texted him to confirm. He arrived at my door in the downpour, toolkit in hand, the porch light a hazy glow. "Ready to level up?" he asked, shaking off his coat. We set up in the living room. I cleared space on the coffee table. Dim lamps cast long shadows over the rugs. I handed him a mug. Steam curled up like a promise. "Show me how to protect myself." "Recordings, cameras, everything." Alex unpacked gadgets, a small recorder, hidden cameras, and apps for tracking call logs. Then he covered the legal basics, steady and instructional. "In Kentucky, one-party consent for recordings. Hit this button," he said, demonstrating mid-call recording. I practiced on a mock setup while he explained tactics Kevin might use. Gaslighting, deflection. "Like when he blamed you for your mom's treatments not working," he said softly. I remembered selling my car to pay bills and Elena in the hospital, her hand weak in mine. Kevin stormed out accusing me of not fighting harder. My voice caught when I shared it. She deserved better from all of us. "You gave everything," Alex said gently but firmly. "I owe you. After my parents split, you let me stay here and tutored me in math." We toasted quietly with our mugs, to justice, not revenge. He showed me camera placement. "Angle it here by the door. You'll catch faces clear." I tested one. The feed was crisp on my phone and a small surge of confidence rose as the image stabilized. But a new thought intruded. What if Kevin called tonight? I felt the shift. He didn't call that night, but I knew the silence was temporary. The next day stretched under intense anticipation. I checked devices, tested cameras, and took a walk to steady my nerves. Every passing car made me flinch, thinking it might be him. By evening, still on edge, my phone finally buzzed, his name flashing on the screen. The device hummed softly in my palm. The green light on the recorder on the table stayed steady as the call sliced through the quiet. I was midway through making tea, the kettle just starting to whistle, steam rising in soft curls. The phone lit up. Kevin. I let it ring, watching the vibrations edge the device across the table. A cold draft from the window mirrored the unease in my chest. It went to voicemail, then rang again. Victoria this time. I ignored it, pouring hot water over the tea bag, the scent of chamomile steadying me as Alex's advice echoed. Record everything. Their words will be your evidence. Several days had passed since our last session, filled with quiet preparations, installing apps, testing recording angles around the house, even long walks to clear my head. But now the storm was breaking. Notifications stacked up, 3 voicemails, flashing texts. I sat at the kitchen table, the dim light casting sharp shadows, and pressed play. The first message. Dad, it's Kevin. There's a misunderstanding about the payments. The planner called and said you backed out. Call me right away. We need to fix this. His voice began controlled, but unease soon surfaced like gravel underfoot. I replayed it, catching the panic underneath. Misunderstanding. He framed it as an accident. The second. Stephen, it's Victoria. Kevin's upset. Vendors are threatening to cancel without your contribution. Don't do this. It's petty. Her tone was clipped, superior, like scolding a child. Petty. The word stung, but I only sipped my tea. Alex had warned me. Accusations often mask desperation. The third. Kevin again. Urgency rising. Dad, seriously, answer. Everything's falling apart. You owe us this after everything. His pause hinted at old resentments, his breath heavy. I replayed it twice, noting the rising pitch, the implied threats. Rumors were already spreading. Mark had done his part. Then Mrs. Hargrove, an old neighbor, called. Stephen, I heard whispers at the club about Kevin's wedding troubles. People are saying it's about money. I hope you're okay. Her words startled me. The gossip had already spread wider than I imagined. But it also gave me a sense of control, something I hadn't felt in years. Just then, another voicemail arrived. Kevin again, his voice cracking. If you don't fix this, you'll regret it. The threat replayed in my mind as I stared at the screen. The next evening, the phone rang again, insistent as a heartbeat in the quiet living room. Recorder app open, I let it ring 4 times before answering. A deliberate pause. Hello, Kevin, Dad, finally. What's going on? Mark says you refuse to pay. You're sabotaging our wedding. His words spilled out sharp with frustration. I breathed evenly, pacing across the carpet. Sabotaging? You banned me. You sent a bill as if I were a sponsor, not family. Remember your note, be grateful, silence. Then he erupted. That's not what it meant. Victoria's friends, the guest list, it wouldn't fit. But the money, you owe it. After Mom, after the struggles you caused. His jab twisted, but I stayed calm, recording each word. I raised you alone. Sold what I had for her care. You blamed me then, ignore me now. No, Kevin, no payment. His voice broke with anger. You're ruining everything. Victoria's furious. Caterers need deposits. The estate's threatening fees. Fix it. I paused, steadying myself with the old pocket watch on the table, its ticking a reminder of dignity. Fix what you broke. Speak to me like a son, not a banker. Then Victoria cut in. Speakerphone. Stephen, this is ridiculous. Your pettiness could ruin everything. Think of the embarrassment. Embarrassment? You banned your father-in-law. You sent me a bill. You expect me to fund your honeymoon while excluding me? Kevin jumped back in, defensive. It's family duty. Admit it, you're jealous of my success. That word, jealous, exposed his ego. I answered firmly, success built on exploiting others. Not anymore. The line crackled with his heavy breathing. You'll regret this. We're done. He hung up, silence pressing in, his words echoing like a wound. Yet that moment revealed his vulnerability, sharpening my resolve. Later, Alex texted updates, vendors demanding payment, rumors spreading. He sent photos, workers pausing setups, a florist's van idling. The images only fueled me. Then Kevin's text poured in. Selfish old man. Destroying our day over ego. Each message short, sharp, accusing. Another call came. Mr. Ellis from next door. Stephen, I saw Kevin yelling at a delivery guy yesterday. Rude as hell, demanding discounts. Heard about the wedding mess. If you need backup, I'm here. Remember how he snubbed us at the block party? His words carried warmth, a reminder of community support Kevin didn't have. Thanks, Ellis. What happened with the delivery? He chuckled. Guy dropped off invitations. Kevin berated him for a crease, said, Do you know who I am? Victoria just watched. Vendors are already pulling out. His story painted Kevin's arrogance clearly, mirroring how he'd treated me. I texted Alex, more from neighbor. Kevin's alienating everyone. He replied, perfect. Escalation coming. Preparations collapsing. Then another message came in, this time from an unknown number. Mr. Taus, wedding cancellation fees. The words sent a fresh wave of urgency through me. The ticking clock on the mantel seemed louder, counting down to something unavoidable. By dawn, November 15th, 2024, the wedding day, gray light seeped through the curtains as rain tapped against the glass like restless fingers. I woke early, the ticking clock still echoing in my ears, a steady reminder of the storm building all week. Those days passed in a rhythm of quiet watchfulness. I checked updates from Alex, ignored Kevin's growing flood of messages, and walked often in the cold Lexington air, steadying myself against doubt. On the morning in question, I opened the weather app. Rain was expected all day, reflecting the storm I had set in motion, a symbolic cleansing of false appearances. I brewed coffee, the strong aroma filling the kitchen, and sat at the table with my phone. At 7 a.m., Alex texted from the estate, vendors arriving, or not. Photos to follow. I sipped slowly, warmth in my hands, as images appeared. Florists unloading vans only to reload their flowers, frustration clear on their faces. Deposit issues, one caption read. They were leaving. Chaos unfolded through his updates. A catering truck idling, staff boxing unused china, rain turning the driveway slick. By noon, guests began arriving. Alex sent shots of confused groups huddled under tents, umbrellas blooming like dark flowers. Where's the setup? His message read. I ignored Kevin's repeated calls, the phone vibrating endlessly on the table. Voicemails piled up. In one, Kevin's voice cracked, Dad, send the money now. Everything's falling apart. The manager's threatening to shut us down. The arrogance I'd known had turned into desperation. More photos arrived. The grand hall unfinished, chairs scattered, no sign of the musicians. Then one image pierced me. Victoria in her gown, face twisted, the rain streaking the mansion windows like tears. For a moment I wondered if it was too cruel, but then remembered their earlier dismissiveness, the words that had cut sharper than rain. The hesitation passed. Justice, I reminded myself, is rarely gentle. By afternoon, Alex reported, guests milling, some leaving, rumors spreading, family feud over money. I paced as the rain drummed harder, imagining the humiliation. Kevin's next voicemail begged, please, Dad, wire it. Guests are laughing. Help! Alex's audio clip captured a guest's words. This is a disaster. Poor planning. The storm outside felt like an echo of the reckoning. Then a pounding on the door. Heavy, insistent, rain dripping from the roof, pooling on the porch. I looked through the peephole. Kevin and Victoria, soaked, pale, disheveled, coats thrown hastily over nightclothes. I opened the door slightly. Mist blew in. What are you doing here? I asked. Kevin pushed forward, dripping onto the entry rug. Dad, let us in. The wedding's ruined. Vendors gone. Guests scattered. It's a joke now. Victoria huddled behind him, her makeup smeared, gown showing beneath her coat. Stephen, please send the money. We can still save something. I let them in reluctantly. The familiar calm of my home clashed with their desperation. Salvage, I thought, after banning me, after demanding my money without respect. Kevin ran a hand through wet hair, his voice breaking. It was a mistake. Victoria's idea, the image, you know. But now everything's collapsed. Help us, Dad, for old times. The words pulled at me, but another memory returned. Kevin as a teenager after Elena's funeral, blaming me for weakness while I buried grief in work. Old times indeed. Like when you blamed me for your mother's death, when you only called if you needed money. I said. Victoria's tone softened for the first time. We didn't mean it. It was stress. The honeymoon's booked, deposits lost. Please think of us. Think of you? I asked evenly. Would you value me without my wallet? Kevin hesitated. Of course, your family, but success means standards. Please, just transfer it. His words revealed the truth. Image mattered more than bonds. No, Kevin. This is the cost of greed. He begged again, louder now. You're destroying us. Guests whisper, vendors mock. Fix this, Dad. Victoria clutched his arm, whispering urgently. But I stood firm. Go. Learn from this. As I opened the door, Kevin's final words broke out raw. Wait, Dad. I regret it. All of it. But the rain swallowed his voice as I closed the door. Their footsteps faded into the storm. I sat back in my chair by the window, rain streaking the glass, their car lights vanishing into dusk. The silence that followed felt like release. The next few days blurred with reflection, curious neighbors calling, me sorting through the weight of it all. One quiet evening, I burned the original bill in the fireplace, its ashes rising like closure. By week's end, Alex confirmed, full collapse. Partial refunds, reputation ruined. But the buzz got me new clients, I called him, warmth in his voice. Stephen, you did it. Photos show empty tents, guests leaving, Kevin's arrogance undone. I leaned back. An old photo album open on the table, faded memories stirring, but no longer painful. Alex and I laughed over old stories, spoke of future plans, perhaps travel, a life unburdened. Later, an unexpected email arrived from Mrs. Hargrove. Your stand reminded me to value real ties. Coffee soon. The words warmed me. From chaos, new connections grew. I raised a glass quietly, to dignity restored. The house felt fuller, not with possessions, but with self-respect. Kevin's pain might plant seeds of growth, regret often does. And when the storm finally cleared, sunlight breaking through, I stepped outside into crisp air, ready for the path ahead. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. To hear the next story, click the box on the left. Thank you for watching.